You and f***ing Chip have been planning this thing for a long time.
Nope.
You're lying. I can see it in your eyes, Charlie.
Fans of the hit reality TV show American Hot Rod have been left stunned as a truth has come to light, revealing a secret that even the most eagle-eyed viewers never suspected. But what mind-blowing revelation has left fans reeling? Join us to find out. The heart of American Hot Rod. American Hot Rod was more than just a TV show. It was a journey into a world where cars were not just machines, they were beautiful works of art. This show opened the doors to a place where building custom cars was filled with heart, effort, and deep love for the craft. Airing from 2004 to 2007 on TLC and Discovery Channel, it quickly became a favorite for fans who loved cars, passion, and true teamwork. At the center of it all was Boyd Coddington, a man who didn't just build cars, he turned ideas into moving masterpieces. The series followed the daily life inside Boyd's shop in La Habra, California. It was a busy place, full of sound, movement, and hard work. Everyone had a job to do, and they worked with all their energy. But under that excitement was always a feeling of pressure. The crew had deadlines to meet, and nothing less than perfect was ever accepted. Each project was different. Each car came with its own surprise. Yet, no matter what, the team had to stay focused and push through. Working in Boyd's shop was never easy. The mix of creativity and deadlines made it both thrilling and stressful. It was a place full of passion, but also full of tension. Many workers found it hard to keep up and decided to leave. In fact, the shop became known for how often staff came and went. It wasn't just the cars that got attention. The changes in the team became part of the story too. Some crew members moved on to find peace in other shops. One of the most talked about names was Chip Foose. He had once worked side by side with Boyd and later opened his own shop. His workplace was known for being calm and encouraging. Even Boyd's own son had a hard time staying long at the La Habra shop. But for those who stayed through all the ups and downs, they became part of something truly special. Even though the pressure was high, the cars that came out of that shop were breathtaking. Each one told a story. One unforgettable build was the Alumitube, made mostly from aluminum. Its smooth and shiny body showed how far creativity could go. Then there was the classy 61 Impala Bubble Top, a perfect mix of beauty and power. The 63 Corvette Stingray turned heads with its clean lines and graceful shape. And the 42 Woody brought back warm memories of the past. These cars weren't just for driving. They were dreams shaped with hands and hearts. In July 2007, something magical happened in the shop. The team came together to build a very special car, a bright pink 1957 Cadillac to honor Elvis Presley. This was not just a project, it was a sweet tribute. Sponsored by Reese's, the car was modeled after the one Elvis once owned. Every detail from the body shape to the paint was handled with great care. It brought the whole team together and became one of the most loved moments of the series. Still, American Hot Rod wasn't only about cars. It was about people. It showed the welders, painters, builders, and designers, the hands behind the magic. It revealed the late nights, the stress of deadlines, and the effort it took to match Boyd's high expectations. Viewers saw real emotion, real struggles, and real teamwork. And when a car was finished and rolled outside, glowing in the sun, it felt like a victory for everyone. The problems inside the shop made the show even more emotional. It wasn't just about engines and chrome. It was about what it meant to create something beautiful. The show reminded us that real success needs more than tools. It needs teamwork, patience, and deep love for the work. The tough moments made the good ones shine even brighter. Then, in February 2008, everything changed. Boyd Coddington passed away after facing complications from surgery. It was a sad time for fans and builders all over the world. It felt like the heart of the show had stopped beating. A few months later, on June 20th, 2008, the shop closed forever. The noise, the dreams, the spark, it all faded into silence. But Boyd's story didn't end there. His cars continued to inspire people. The team he trained, the lessons he shared, and the passion he poured into every build kept living on. The ideas and designs he brought to life stayed in the hearts of those who had worked beside him. Fans still talk about the cars, the episodes, and the unforgettable moments. They remember the fun, the fights, the deadlines, and the joy of watching a car come to life in that small California shop. American Hot Rod was never just a TV show. It was a look into a world where perfection was the goal and love for the craft was the engine that kept things running. It showed what happens when people give their time, energy, and care to make something special. It was bold, it was honest, and above all, it was sweet. But during the show, there were secrets that fans didn't even know about, and this was exposed recently. What were these? Let's dive into it. The twists and troubles behind American Hot Rod. American Hot Rod was not just a fun car show. It brought sparkle and strength to our screens, showing the tough and exciting world of building custom cars. Viewers saw beautiful designs and smart ideas, but behind the scenes, things were not always so smooth. Many problems were growing quietly. Legal troubles, money worries, sudden leadership changes, and creative disagreements. Boyd Coddington, the man at the center of it all, faced a path filled with challenges. Boyd Coddington was a well-known name in the world of custom cars. People loved his careful work and new ideas. His builds set the standard for hot rods. But even with all his skill and fame, Boyd still ran into big problems. Later in life, he started calling brand new custom cars vintage. These cars were made almost completely from new parts, but were described as restored classics. By doing this, Boyd was able to avoid strict rules on car emissions and pay fewer taxes. But the government in California didn't agree. They said that if a car had too many new parts, it couldn't be called the same car anymore. They used an old idea called the Ship of Theseus, where if you replace every part of a ship, is it still the same ship? Boyd was charged with a small offense, and in April 2005, he admitted he had done wrong. This moment hurt his reputation a lot. At the same time, the world of hot rods was changing. In the early days, hot rods were simple, rough cars. People took them apart to make them faster, especially when they needed to run from police while moving illegal alcohol. It was a bold and creative kind of car building. But over time, hot rods started to look smoother and more expensive. Now people could buy kits to build them at home. Many fans began turning rare old cars into hot rods that could never be returned to their original shape. This caused new arguments in the hot rod world. Some longtime fans thought changing these old special cars just to make money was wrong. Hot rodding had started with the idea of using old parts and building something new. Now it seemed to be more about business and fancy upgrades. People worried that the heart of hot rodding was being lost. Boyd Coddington's company stood at the center of this storm. His shop, Hot Rods by Boyd, was famous for creating amazing custom cars. But another part of his business, called Boyd's Wheels, started to run into serious trouble. In January 1998, both companies had to ask for help through something called Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which is a way to try to save a business that is running out of money. Things had been going downhill for a while. In 1996, Boyd's team tried to grow the wheel-making part of the business. They bought new machines and invested a lot of money. But those machines didn't work the way they hoped. Orders had to be canceled, customers were upset, and the business started to fall apart. While they were trying to fix things, the market was also changing. Car companies started putting nicer wheels on cars at the factory. Fewer people wanted to spend money on custom wheels. Boyd's wheels were some of the most expensive, so sales dropped fast. In 1997, the company only made $16 million, and by the third quarter of the year, they had lost $7.5 million. To try and save the company, a new group of leaders was brought in. One of their big moves was to let go of 170 workers, almost half the staff. Boyd was also removed from his leadership position. It was a hard thing for him, but many thought it had to be done to save the company. Sadly, the problems were too big. With just $500,000 left and no help from banks, the company couldn't go on. In January 1998, the end came. On a Friday, workers were told they had lost their jobs. Many had seen it coming. There had been whispers around the shop for weeks. The place felt heavy with worry. Managers said they would try to help the workers find new jobs. Still, it was heartbreaking. The people in that shop were like family, and now they had to say goodbye. Chip Foose, who had been the lead designer, shared how sad he felt about the shop closing. He had worked there for years and had strong ties to the people and the place. Even though he would go on to new work, the fall of the company was painful for him and for many others who loved it like home. Even after losing his role, Boyd still had strong opinions. He believed that if people had acted faster, the business could have been saved. But the man who had replaced him as CEO disagreed. He said they tried everything they could, but there just wasn't enough time. In the end, the company had to sell off everything it owned. This helped protect the money that banks and investors had put into the business. It was a sad ending for a name that once led the custom car world. The shop had built incredible cars, inspired a popular TV show, and touched the lives of car lovers everywhere. But how did all this start? The fame, the show, the organization? Let's find out. How hot rods became America's sweetest ride. Hot rods are more than just fast cars. They are full of love, creativity, and a proud history. They show the dreams of young people who wanted something more than regular cars. Hot rods began with people who truly loved cars. They wanted to make their cars faster, better looking, and more powerful. What started as simple vehicles slowly became beautiful and strong works of art. This amazing journey started nearly 100 years ago. The story of hot rods began in America in the 1920s and 1930s. During this time, young people were becoming more interested in speed. They wanted to go faster than anyone else. To do that, they started changing their cars by making the engines stronger, replacing parts, and removing anything heavy. Every change they made helped their cars go faster and made driving more exciting. In the 1930s, California became the perfect place for car lovers to try out their hot rods. They would race each other on big, dry lake beds that were flat and smooth. These fun races led to the creation of car clubs and racing groups. As time passed, people started to worry about safety. That's when groups like the Southern California Timing Association, SCTA, were formed to help organize and make the races safer. Ford played a big part in the hot rod story. Ford cars helped build the hot rod world. They were strong, affordable, and easy to change, making them perfect for young people who wanted to create something special. Two of Ford's early cars, the Model T and the Model A, were especially loved by hot rod fans. The Model T came out in 1908. It was the first car that many Americans could afford. This made it very popular. When hot rods started to become popular, many people picked the Model T because it had a simple design and was light, which made it easy to customize. People changed the engines, added better carburetors, and made the suspension better so the car could go faster. In 1927, Ford introduced the Model A. This car was better in both design and performance. Hot rod fans liked it a lot. The Model A had a strong frame that could hold bigger, more powerful engines. People also liked how easy it was to change its appearance. Many hot rod fans added Ford's flathead V8 engine to the Model A. This created the famous 1932 Ford, often called the Deuce. The flathead V8 engine was one of Ford's greatest gifts to the hot rod world. It was introduced in 1932 and was known for being strong, reliable, and not too expensive. Hot rod fans loved adding new parts to it, like high compression heads, more carburetors, and special exhaust systems. The Flathead V8 gave hot rods a deep, growling sound that made them even more exciting. These cars were not only fast, they had personality. When World War II started, hot rodding slowed down. Materials were needed for the war, and many hot rod lovers joined the military. But their love for cars didn't disappear. In fact, it grew even stronger. While serving, these soldiers learned how to work on military vehicles like tanks, planes, and trucks. When they returned home, they brought back new skills and a stronger love for cars. After the war, these veterans began building hot rods again. They used parts from old military vehicles and added airplane-style features to their cars. Some cars had bomber seats or dashboards, like those in planes. Others were painted to look like fighter jets. This mix of military style and car-building talent made hot rods even more exciting and different. In the years after the war, hot rods became even more popular. The 1949 Ford, with its stylish design and better suspension, became a favorite. Many people started buying cars just to customize them. Cars like the 1955-1957 Ford Thunderbird and the first Ford Mustangs were also turned into cool, fast hot rods. Ford cars stayed at the center of the hot rod trend because they were strong and easy to change. During the 1950s and 1960s, hot rods became a big part of American life. They weren't just about speed anymore, they were about showing your style. Builders used bright colors, new body shapes, and creative designs. Flames, stripes, and shiny chrome made hot rods bold and fun. Music, movies, and magazines made hot rods even more popular with the public. Racing hot rods became a favorite activity. In 1951, the National Hot Rod Association, NHRA, was started. It made hot rod racing safer and more organized. People raced on straight tracks to see whose car was the fastest. These races were full of loud engines, burning tires, and cheering fans. Drag strips became popular places where hot rod lovers could race and show off their cars. Even as car designs changed in the late 20th century, hot rods stayed loved. Many people began to miss the older styles, and hot rods made a comeback. Classic hot rod looks were combined with modern parts like better engines and electronics. This new trend was called street rodding. These cars looked old on the outside, but felt new when you drove them. All across the country, car shows and festivals started popping up. Events like the Hot Rod Power Tour and Hot August Nights brought together thousands of fans. People came to admire the cars, share parts, and tell their stories. It was no longer just about cars. It became a way for people to connect, laugh, and celebrate their shared love for hot rods. Let's see their most stunning builds. Watch closely, because this will leave you reeling. Timeless treasures on wheels. Hot rods are not just vehicles. They are a form of art and carry deep meaning. They are built by people who put their heart into every part. Each hot rod has a special story, from how it was made to the journey it went on. While there are many amazing hot rods in the world, only a few truly stay in people's hearts. These special ones are bold, creative, and unforgettable. One of the most elegant and special builds was called the French Connection. It was inspired by the French Delahaye and showed off Boyd Coddington's classic style. The car was made by Marcel & Sons using a mix of steel and aluminum. Its hand-shaped body sat on an Art Morrison frame with smooth curves from front to back. Inside, it had soft cowhide leather and even some exotic ostrich skin. The wheels were custom-made, but they were hidden behind stylish skirts. What made the car even more unique was its powerful engine in the front. Instead of a normal engine, it had a huge 12.8-liter V12 engine that was originally built for boats. A special fuel injection system made it look like it had 6 sets of Weber carburetors. It also had a strong GM TH400 transmission and a trusted Ford 9-inch rear axle. Another hot rod that people loved was a custom pickup called Boyd's Hauler. This one was built for the famous rock guitarist Eddie Van Halen. They started with a 1993 Chevy 1,500 short bed truck, and Boyd and Chip Foose turned it into something truly one of a kind. The truck got a Corvette 350 engine and a 700 R4 automatic transmission. It also had a Corvette rear suspension for a smoother ride. The truck had a special billet grille, a new front bumper, and a fresh air dam for better airflow. Boyd wheels were used again, with different sizes in the front and back for a bold look. The truck also had a shiny MagnaFlow exhaust system and a top-quality sound system from Memphis Audio. Everything about it showed style, power, and personality. One of the most loved hot rods of all time is the Deuce Coupe. It was built on the 1932 Ford chassis and is a classic favorite. Boyd made his own version of this car on an episode of American Hot Rod. It had a strong Chevy 350 engine, a TH350 transmission, and a Winters quick-change rear end. This build captured everything hot rodding is about. The car had Moon Eyes valve covers, an Offenhauser intake, and shiny ceramic-coated exhaust manifolds. The front suspension was polished to shine. Inside, the seats were custom, the dashboard was redesigned, and it had beautiful pinstriping. As always, Boyd's wheels gave the final perfect touch. Another car that turned heads was a 1957 Cadillac Series 62 with a full makeover. All the shiny chrome was removed, and its Cadillac features were made simpler. It ended up looking more like a Chevy Bel Air. Even though it looked simple, it had a powerful 540 cubic inch, 650 horsepower big block Chevy engine under the hood. This Cadillac had a turbo 400 transmission, a Ford 9-inch rear, and electronic fuel injection. It came with Boyd wheels, a custom steering wheel, and even a hidden candy cooler in the back. The inside had leather seats made by Gabe Lopez and included power windows, power steering, disc brakes, air conditioning, and remote-controlled doors and windows. The sound system had a DVD player, satellite radio, and iPod support. The Plymouth Prowler also made a big mark in hot rod history. It was Chrysler's modern take on hot rod style. Even though it didn't sell as well as hoped, its creative design and new ideas made sure it had a place in hot rod history. It showed that hot rodding could live on, even in cars made for the public. Bob McGee's 1932 Ford Roadster is known as one of the best hot rods ever made. After coming back from World War II, McGee rebuilt his car and started racing. By 1947, the car looked great, was strong, and ready to win. It became so popular that the U.S. Postal Service even put it on a special stamp, Said About American Cars. The bright yellow 1932 Ford Coupe became famous in the movie American Graffiti. It was the main character's car and later got the name Milner Coupe. Now owned by Rick Figari, this car is no longer driven but kept as a historic piece. It's seen as one of the most famous hot rods ever built. Another masterpiece was Spencer II, the final car designed by Doane Spencer before he passed away. Pete Chaporis finished the car, which had a steel body and a 405 horsepower Ford engine. Every detail was perfect, and it wowed the judges at the 1997 Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, winning the top hot rod prize. In 1957, Ed Roth began designing a very different kind of hot rod called the Outlaw. It was made from fiberglass, which was rare at the time. Finished in 1959, the car had pearl white and candy green paint, shiny chrome, and a bold look. Even today, it still feels like something from the future. The California Kid, built by Pete Chaporis in the 1970s, also stood out. It followed the resto-rodding trend, mixing classic looks with modern features. After it appeared in a 1974 TV movie, it became very popular. Its sleek black paint and flame designs were copied by many others. With a Ford V8 engine and FMX transmission, it was fast, strong, and stylish. All of these hot rods are more than just cars. They show deep care, love, and creativity. Every part, from the shape of the car to the type of engine, the seats, and even the paint, tells a story. These amazing hot rods were made to leave a mark, not just at shows or on roads, but in the hearts of everyone who sees them. They stand for dreams that came true, one piece, one spark, and one engine roar at a time.